Welcome to Art Loves Fashion. I'm your host, Sharonda Irving. I'm an image consultant, professional developer, art curator and collector, a wife and a mom. This show, Art Loves Fashion, is about, you guessed it, art, love, and fashion. We'll be meeting new people, trying interesting things, and hopefully learning something new. Sounds kind of vague, right? That's because I want you to join me on Sundays at 5 o'clock as we take a journey of all things creative and beautiful with art, loves, fashion. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Art Loves Fashion. I am your host, Sharonda Irving, and welcome to a conversation about all things beautiful and creative. I hope everyone has had an amazing week. And this is actually, today is going to be my back to school special. My back to school themed show. And I am joined by my favorite fashionable educator, Tatiana and I. She's joining me in studio today, pumping through, looking cute, representing for the teachers today. But we, and so all three segments today are going to be themed around educators. It is that time of the year, everyone. If you haven't already, some school districts have already started back. Some are just starting back. And like all things school is in the news and all over your TV. So why not? Let's just go with it. So let's jump right into our art segment. I wanted to share with you, there's an artist here in Washington, D.C. Her name is Sudeka Nzinga. She actually has been so very, she is really doing her thing. She's kind of just producing so many things. She's an artist. She is a curator. She's I would even say an educator, a mom, a wife, and also has a podcast. She's very, very busy. She and I have actually been playing phone tag, trying to get her onto the show, but she's got a lot going on. So hope to see you soon on the show, Sudeka. And I really hope that I'm saying her name right. That's why I need to get her on the show so she can correct me. So, at any rate, she had a feature in East of the River, which is a local newspaper here in Washington, D.C., that is specifically highlighting the communities that are east of the river, southeast communities. And so I learned a little bit about her background. She's originally from, born and raised in Denver, Colorado. Just got back from Colorado. Colorado is amazing, beautiful, fresh air.
Yes.
And she eventually made her way. She went to Hampton University, visited Washington, D.C., and decided that Washington, D.C. should be her home. And in the article, it talks about the fact that when she was in middle school, she would tell people that she was going to move. She's going to move to live in Washington, D.C. and be an artist. She was saying that in middle school. So, let's go manifestations, right?
You're manifesting your life.
So she moved to Washington, D.C., fell in love with the city, and also, has met and fell in love with her husband, who his name is James Terrell. He's also an artist. He's a native Washingtonian. And together they're, in Washington, D.C., just killing it on the art scene.
I love it.
And as a matter of fact, some of his art can be seen down on Black Lives Matter Plaza. Like he has some of those storefront windows that have been turned into art. And so at any rate, so I wanted to talk a little bit about her. She's currently on exhibit at the Phillips Gallery, which is a really dope art gallery here in Washington, D.C. They have an exhibit right now called Inside, Outside, Upside Down.
Okay, that
talking
sounds very
about
cute.
people's experiences and reactions to all the things that have been going on. She has a piece that I think they're doing like awards for it. And hers is called Protest Erupts. And it's a really beautiful piece. And it's actually a piece that is of her daughter pouring tea.
Okay.
But she said that she wanted to address what was going on, but without centering the subject on violence featuring a black person's body. So although you might look at it like, oh, this is a little girl pouring tea, what does that have to do with the protest?
Right.
But in the moment that she's capturing, there are protests going on outside of where they were. But what was going on inside of the home and how her children were impacted and how they were impacted as a family. It's a really beautiful piece. And her work is like, I would say probably multimedia. So there's paper collage, there's fabric, there's, I believe, paint in it. So it's a really dynamic style of art. And she also does collaborative art with her husband. So the pieces are really interesting. Her use of color is amazing. And I really was drawn to her because a lot of what she paints captures families, black families, and a lot of like black women just being together, chilling together. And I have a picture of the first piece that I saw was of a woman sitting in a chair, and there's a bed, and there's somebody sleeping in the bed. And as I was reading a little bit more about it, she was saying that it was, she just was having a moment where she was feeling herself, but the baby's in the bed sleep like under the covers. And I thought that was just a really cool, like authentic moment that as women, you know, that middle of the night moment when the kids are asleep and you still are feeling yourself late night after the kids go to sleep. And I thought it was a really beautiful piece. And so that's how I started, you know, following her and really becoming interested in her artwork. And I really love how watching, following her, I see all kinds of like changes and differences in every piece that she puts out, which obviously as an artist, you're a living, constantly evolving, creating being. So definitely check her out. But check her out and go onto the Phillips collection and vote for her piece, Protest Erupts. But the part that ties into teachers is that she curated an art show called that was highlighting DC area teachers.
Okay.
So art teachers across Washington, D.C. all submitted work, and she put on this show. And it was done virtually. It was during the time when everyone was still doing their virtual teaching. It was 21 DC area teachers, and it examined isolation and mental health during the 2020 pandemic and social unrest. She's got portraiture, sculpture, print, digital, and abstract art, and spoken word. And I just encourage folks to go and just check it out, because one of the things I love is that it highlights that educators, number one, are dynamic individuals.
Absolutely.
And we come to the profession with a multitude of talents, and that there are teachers in the classroom who are really amazing artists. Some of the artists in this particular exhibit, this was their first time ever exhibiting their work, and some were like actual like professional artists who have had shows and have had exhibits. And so it's really cool to see the span of expertise. And so like the children in Washington, D.C. are really fortunate to be learning art from some of these super dope artists.
Yeah.
And if you are a teacher, go pop into an art teacher's class and just like do something creative and soak up some art
You can
time
learn
with
a lot.
your kids.
That was like one of my favorite things to do, especially like BC before COVID. It was like, popping into like the art teacher, just kind of see what they're working on, learning things. And I feel like, kids love going to art. Like, it's just like an opportunity for them to just be very creative. So you can just learn a lot too.
Or pull up a chair. I know we're always busy, and there's never time to like really give up your precious planning period. But like pulling up a chair and doing art with them is such a like in the middle of the day.
The
like
cutest thing is like,
thing.
especially because I have like younger kids. It's like when they make something in art, they all want to give it to you when they're done. They're like, "I made this for you." You're like,
Thanks. I love it. I hang them up all over.
I actually
my
keep.
classroom.
You know what? I have a thing where anything that a child has made for me, I keep.
Absolutely.
Like I have not thrown any like cards. Like all of that, I still have. Like,
Hashtag teacher life. We collect all the things that they give us. All the things. I don't care if it's like a piece of paper with a squiggly line.
Actually,
if a kid told me it was for me, I'm keeping it.
2 years ago, I think they were learning like pottery, and I actually one of my students made me like a jewelry. She said it was a jewelry box. It has a lid and everything, and it's so actually it's at home, and I mean it's cute and it's colorful. And she's like, I made it for you. So
and it is a jewelry box,
it's
regardless of what it looks like.
Yes,
you better make sure you put some earrings in
there.
Right,
or put some earrings in there.
Years ago, it used to be that you made an ashtray. But now, when I was a kid and we had art, every piece of pottery wound up being an ashtray. So, but smoking is not it's not as like...
It was a thing.
It was a thing back then. Yeah. So, but at any rate, go check out Sudeka Nzinga. Follow her on Instagram. Check out her exhibit on at the Phillips Art Gallery. But also, especially in this season of supporting teachers, go check out her exhibit that I thought was an amazing idea, the DC Teacher Art Show. It is virtual. You can see it. And the great thing is, too, if you are interested in having art, collecting art, there are some teachers on there who are artists who sell their works. So you may find someone you're interested in that you may want to support and expand or start your collection. Okay. And on that note, shout out to a couple of names on the exhibit that I know as teacher friends, and one of them being Zalika Perkins, art teacher. Yep, and also Jamise Winston. I know both of those art educators. So,
that's really cool.
It is cool. So when you see her, you could be like, "Girl, so your exhibit."
I know, I love it.
Yes, and she sells her art as well. So shout out to those people. And so that's my art segment. Okay. Go support your local artists. If you're not in the Washington D.C. area, still follow them, or see what the art teachers are up to in your school. If you're a teacher and you're watching this, go see what the art teacher is really up to.
They had to get really creative, especially during this past year. So
absolutely. And so they're probably really excited to get back into the building and do real hands-on art with their babies. So and so that wraps up our art segment. We're going to transition as we talk about love. Hey guys, this is Sharonda Irving, image consultant and host of Art Loves Fashion. If you missed today's episode, don't worry, don't stress. You can go to my YouTube channel and see today's episode, as well as some of my other past episodes. You'll be able to see some of my super fantastic guests, as well as fun content. If you enjoyed the show, please make sure that you leave me something in the comments. Don't forget, our airing schedule is every second and fourth Sunday from 5 to 6 o'clock. Tune in with me live on Facebook and on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe, and share. It's September. The excitement is real. The excitement, the anticipation. You're going to get to see your kids. They're giving you love and hugs, and everybody's enthusiastic.
Can we give hugs?
I don't know. Well, they're going to try to give you hugs. They might, but the kids have been trained but they're going to want to give hugs or high fives and elbow bumps, and you got your lesson plans, and your classroom is beautiful, and the excitement and the positivity around it is real.
It is.
But the truth of the matter is that's also a certain kind of stress, right? So self-care and should be starting even now, right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
I was thinking about like the two things, and why should you be thinking about self-care even now? One, even when it's like good stress, you can still get overloaded.
Yeah.
And you'll be anticipating school opening that you find yourself not getting enough rest. So you got to be really super careful, even on the positive side of the stress.
Right. Yeah.
But then, you know, assessments and all the things. I should look at the face. I shouldn't even be naming them just yet.
I'm sorry. I just felt myself.
I know, right? I'm so sorry. Wait. We're gonna breathe out.
Okay.
We're gonna breathe that out.
Woosah, because that's a lot.
Over time, the stress feelings start to change.
Absolutely.
I'll just put it that way. And so then, what do we do? To manage and to continue to do self-care. So I asked Tatiana to share with us on her page. She definitely shares with us some of her her self-care things. But what would you say are your top two, like currently, or like, currently your top two most important or favorite self-care things that you do?
So I would say that right now, as crazy as it sounds, it's like I'm really prioritizing rest and prioritizing like getting sleep. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm now have to like train my body to get ready to like go back into the classroom after almost a year and a half of being at home virtual. You know, that schedule worked for me, right? It was like I was able to wake up a little bit later and do my, you know, my morning routine and then hop on the laptop. Now it's like transitioning my body back into waking up early, doing my morning routine, getting dressed, having to get in a car, drive somewhere, get there. Like that's a lot. And I think that as an educator, I've been doing this for 10 years now, like it still feels like a new thing to kind of like get used to. So I'm prioritizing rest. One of the things I just discovered, I might be like late to the game, but one of the things I actually just discovered on my iPhone was using downtime. So what I do now is like I set a time where my phone goes on do not disturb, but also there are apps, you know, like I will, you know, scroll on Instagram and be on TikTok and doing all this, and I'm in the bed and I'm doing those things, and I recognize like that distracts me. I'm actually getting a good night's rest. So I put my phone on downtime, and I make sure that my phone is like away from me so I can actually rest. So I'm really prioritizing rest. So if I feel tired, it's like you need to take, you know, you need to definitely do that. The second thing that I'm prioritizing right now, like as a self-care, is working out and exercising. And the reason why is because like stress, like that, I felt the stress like kind of building up for me. So I just wanted to make sure that now I'm getting into the habit of working out. If that's like having to wake up early to work out, I need to do that because my day is going to look very different than how it's looked, you know, during the summer, where it's like, oh, you could work out here, you could work out there. Now it's like, oh no, you might have to wake up early to work out so then you can go to work and do your, you know, get through your day, and understanding that when you're done with work, you might be too tired to work out. So those are two, I would say those right now, currently, those are two things I'm prioritizing. I am prioritizing rest, and I'm also prioritizing working out of some form. It could be, you know, high intensity workout, some strength training, or it could just be a walk, like whatever it is.
Let me ask you this, because Tatiana is known for on her Instagram, she is pouring her tea. Now that
I'm a tea drinker, honey.
Are you going to be able to do your morning tea now?
Oh yes, I'm still. So it's funny because BC before COVID, drinking my tea was something I would do at work. Like I would just, you know, I bought like this really cute little kettle, and I would pour my tea, and that was something I would do in the morning. But I'm trying to decide if I still want that to be my thing in the morning as I'm like transitioning back into the classroom. And I think now it is, because that's the one thing I do first thing in the morning. I make my tea, do my devotional, go work out, you know, get ready. I have a dog now, which I did not have before. So getting the routines, and I feel like it's important to have a morning routine, but also an evening routine.
Yes,
so absolutely. I think that's all like self-love and self-care.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that you mentioned the evening routines, because I went on this whole journey of like becoming an early riser. My goal was to wake up at 5:30 every morning. Yeah. And one of the things that I had to realize is that my evening routine was the key to success for me. Yeah. And a little bit more of a night owl.
Okay.
And so I was like kind of really trying to reset like a whole different way of doing things.
Right.
And I was like, why am I like in the morning really fighting with the alarm clock? Is because I didn't have a nighttime routine.
And that's really important. And I say that because I'm like, oh, okay, a morning routine is fine, right? But if you can't shut it down at a certain time and get yourself in bed and like be well rested, right? Yeah. Because we're supposed to get like 8 hours of sleep, and
I need 8 hours. Some people can operate without being on 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I have done
it. My body, I know I consistently need at minimum 7 hours.
7 hours, yeah.
Or 8 hours. So I have to go to bed at like 9:30, 10:30 in order to wake up at 5:30 a.m.
To wake up early. And I think that, again, it's a transition, right? It's a transition of going back to work. And it looks very different now because a lot of us were virtual. And like myself, I was virtual the whole entire time. So there was no hybrid, which means of like being in school sometimes.
She was lucky.
Being in school sometimes, and then also being in school sometimes and being at home. I was just home the entire time. Now, some people might say, you're lucky for being at home. And I do think there was benefits of that, but also my home became everything. My home was the classroom, the gym, the therapist's office, like all of that. So,
it definitely, like, I mean, when I say that, it's really,
I know, it was a lot.
It was difficult on both sides.
Yeah, it's difficult on both. So I think
I don't ever want to minimize.
No, I think right now, teachers, especially as you are returning back into the workplace. However, if you were virtual or if you were in person, doesn't matter. It's going to be a shift. So I think prioritizing your self-care this year especially is going to be a priority. And that's something that I'm saying to myself. I even ask like my other friends, like, what are you going to do for yourself? And I have to remind myself, like, what are you going to do to take care of yourself? Because what we've experienced, especially as educators, was a lot. Yeah. And as you're trying to go back into that, we also don't know how the year is going to pan out, right? We don't know that. But it's still making sure you're taking care of yourself, because you cannot pour into children. You cannot pour into anything if you're not really caring for yourself. And I think that's really, really important. Whatever that looks like for you, if that's saying, hey, I need to make sure I'm getting my nails done, or I'm going to take a bath, I'm going to whatever it is that you like is your thing, I say make that a part of your routine and don't skip out on it.
So on that note, I'm going to share a couple of strategies.
Okay, let's go.
Quick tip strategies.
I love a good strategy.
So here's the thing, that in thinking about self-care, you got to think about two different buckets, right?
Okay.
It's the what happens, what do you do in the moment, or what are the things you can do on the job to manage stress and take care of yourself, right?
Okay. Yep.
So I'm going to share with you a couple of tips for that, and then we're going to talk about what you can do outside of school, right?
Yes.
So, because we all know that there are moments, whether as teachers or like on the job, but for teachers it's a little different because you can't just walk outside your office and whatever. You can't leave at the moment, right?
Right, yeah.
So here are a couple tips. One is write down some when-then statements. I'm going to give you examples. And these are like ways to monitor how you're going to take care of yourself. Okay. When it's 10 a.m., I will do 2 minutes of breathing. When the children transition to, specials, I'll do a couple of stretches and move my body. So you set those intentions ahead of time, knowing that like that point in the day is going to occur, and then you actually create something that you're going to do.
Yeah.
When it's time for kids to transition to the carpet, I will take 10 deep mindful breaths or something like that.
That's a good one now you say that, because I realize, I'm in the building, I'm wearing a mask, and maybe it's just from my experience, but I found that I was like really thirsty. So one of the things that I had to put a reminder in my phone is like drink water, like at this time, and I just do it like every hour, reminding myself to drink water, because that's also a form of like self-care.
Absolutely.
And self-love, because you have to stay hydrated, and teaching in a mask is very difficult. And I found myself being very, very thirsty. So I think that's a good point of like making sure you stay hydrated and you drink water. Yeah.
Absolutely. And with the water piece, that's one of the other things, like having sort of like power foods or pick-me-up foods available. And by power foods and pick-me-up foods, it's super easy as a teacher. Like sometimes we don't like to drink a lot of water because you can't go to the bathroom right when you need to.
True.
Right? But we got to like, people don't know stuff like that. Like teachers try to,
unless
don't
you
really
have
drink
a
lot of
bathroom
water.
in your classroom.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I
do. Then like it's easy to like avoid drinking water, and also it's easy to eat a lot of junk food.
Yes,
or whatever.
I agree.
But here's some power foods and pick me up foods that you should have available to keep your energy going and keep yourself feeling good, right?
Okay.
Water.
Yep.
Apples, nuts and seeds.
Okay.
Dark chocolate. So
Ooh, I
all
love a
the
good dark chocolate,
all the Hershey's and stuff, and like the Halloween candy you steal from your students, that's not gonna be the right
Dark
one.
chocolate is
Get
good.
dark chocolate.
Yeah, dark chocolate.
Right?
Good.
Protein boosts like granola bars or Arbonne protein bars. Tea, but I would say be very careful about the kinds of tea that you're going to drink, because you don't want to like get that caffeine rush and then the caffeine crash. And bananas.
So like herbal teas.
Also like green tea has some caffeine in it, but it also has like antioxidants, and like it's a different kind of matcha, those kinds of things that's a little bit more gentle than like a strong caffeine, like zing up the ladder and back down.
Right.
I will also say Arbonne Energy Fizz.
Plug that.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
I've tried it, and I thought I dropped my phone. I tried it, and it did give me like a nice like boost.
Because the thing about Energy Fizz is that it gives you energy, but it gives you stamina, and it gives you like mental clarity.
It didn't make me feel like jittery at all.
No.
Like I didn't feel, and normally like I have a very sensitive system, and when I have something that's like too much caffeine, it's like I get really jittery, and it did not do that. So I appreciate that.
Yes. Look, I'm not going to tell people about anything that I have not like.
Does you have that?
It's really what works.
Yeah, it did. I liked it. Yeah.
So, especially if you're a person like you don't love water, like put that in your water, and but I would say like put a lot of it.
I'm a water drinker, and not all water tastes the same.
Yeah. Let's not talk. So those are your power foods, right?
Okay, those are good.
Another one is, and this one is difficult to do, but you gotta like prioritize it if you're talking about self-care. Eat your lunch or a snack outside.
You know what? I can't lie. That is something, teaching from home, like I did. So like during my lunch breaks, I was really grateful. Like I had my dog, where I would go for a walk real quick before I had to teach my next block, and just having like just the sun and the fresh air, like it made a huge difference. So that is something I do want to do, as we transition back into the building, of making sure that I go outside, because if you're just in the classroom all day, that could be a lot.
It can be it
could be a whole lot. And I think, again, we don't know how school is going to be, once students are back, and the anticipation of all that. But I do think, again, like it's very important that teachers are prioritizing their mental health this year. And I know for myself, and I can say this, is like I'm somebody who likes to do, and I like to help, I like to lead, I like to do all that. And last year burnt me out. So this year I'm saying no to some things. Yeah. Like I'm going to Simone Biles out. Like, I'm sorry, my mental health is, more important.
Right.
So I think that's also a form of self-love and self-care. If you're able to know, like, hey, I can do this and I can't. If it's too much. Setting boundaries is really important. And being okay with saying, no, I cannot do that.
Yeah.
And another thing that I said I'm going to do for myself this year is giving myself a cutoff time with work. So
that's so super important.
Yeah, a cutoff time. So after... it could be like after 4:30, after like there's no more work. I'll check it tomorrow.
That right there is a feat unto itself. Trying to finish your work at 4:30.
It's a lot. But you know what? The one thing I've learned is like it's going to be there.
Yeah.
The work is going to be there. The to-do list is going to be there. So it's just like, would I rather say, hey, I'm going to work. I'm going to keep working until I finish it. And then I look up, it's dark outside. I haven't eaten dinner. And I'm flustered. I'm frustrated. I can't do my nighttime routine. I go to bed late. So now it's like a ripple effect.
Yeah, it does. And then the next day you coming in and you frustrated and yelling.
And you're frustrated. And it's rather than setting a boundary of like, you know what? I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to honor myself. Stop right now. Okay, do what I need to do so that I could be better tomorrow.
One of the things that I used to do is I would say that I had late days. So like I would set certain days that I knew I was going to work late.
Right.
And I would be super focused and get a bunch done.
Okay.
And then all the other days I knew, like, okay, if I do everything I'm supposed to do, then all these other days I can leave at, you know, 4:30 or whatever it is. And then I also made it like I had to, before I left, I had a closeout routine. I cleaned off my desk, I set my board, and I got everything ready. Right. And if I was focused and I did that, then the next, it was like I could leave on time. Right. I would come in the next day feeling prepared, and I could still have my evenings, and except for that like one late day or whatever.
Right.
But so here's the thing that I want to mention, or I wanted to talk about, is this idea around, like Tatiana was saying, like prioritizing and setting boundaries and all those other things that are also a part of self-care, because we think about like drinking tea, eating healthy foods, and like taking a hot bath and those kinds of things, right, that we do as a part of self-care. But I learned something, and again, like I could be late to the game, but it changed my whole perspective.
Okay.
Last year, I participated in a professional learning opportunity that came from this organization called the Devereaux Center for Resilient Children. And there was a segment for the adults, and building resiliency in adults. Now, what I thought was interesting, at first I was a little hesitant about it, because in my mind, resiliency meant like pushing through and your ability to just kind of like overcome things that were hard and like keep it moving. But what I learned through going through this particular professional learning was that there was a whole nother idea behind what is resilient, right? And what resilient meant for them was do you have the right strategies in place to overcome adversities, or like coping, really what we would call like coping skills, right?
Okay.
What kind of coping skills do you have to help you overcome difficult times? Okay. And so through this particular thing, right, there was this whole like, and I gave Tatiana a copy of it because it changed my, like when I did this one, and I did it, as a teacher leader, they had this for us, and I like emailed central office and was like, this needs to be for everybody, and you need to extend the window so people can do this. Right. And what it did was went through this thing. It talks about four areas. It says statistical analysis shows that the Devereaux Adult Resilience Survey is an excellent tool for providing adults with an opportunity to gain valuable insight. So it was like thinking about what are your coping skills, right? So it was around relationships, internal beliefs, initiative, and self-control. So like this didn't have anything to do with like relaxation techniques or like how to turn things off. This was like what's inside of you that allows you to continue to like cope effectively. Right. And so I was like, whoa, I never even gave this any thought, right?
Yeah,
so
this is good. I think two things that's standing out for me is like one of the things that says like learn to say no, which I'm learning, and then also your safe place.
Yeah.
Like that's a good one.
So with this, this adult resiliency survey, and I encourage educators, I encourage anybody, because I was like, I wanted to like sit my family down, like, let's all take this survey. But, that's a very like teacherly thing to do. Like, come on, we're all going to
do this together right now, right? I'm going to set the timer.
Get some sticky notes and we're going to do this.
Oh my gosh.
But the survey was like, asking you stuff like, I have good friends who support me, I provide support to others, I'm empathetic to others, so on and so forth, right? And then you rate yourself, right? Okay. And then once you realize like what things you have in place, because then you either say, I almost always do this or have this, I sometimes do this or have this, and then there was a not yet, right? So like stuff like I communicate effectively with those around me. Some people, when they get stressed out, they don't say anything.
They shut down.
And they shut down.
Yeah.
Right? But thinking about the fact that like communication as a like self-care.
That's an important one, and that's something I had to learn, like not to shut down. Like sometimes I do a lot of checking in with myself. Mm-hmm. And that's something I learned in therapy, which is another form of self-love.
Absolutely.
And self-care.
Get you a therapist.
Yes, get you a therapist. So one of the things that I do now is, like, let's say if a feeling or emotion comes over me, if I feel like extremely stressed out or whatever, I'll say, okay, what's going on with you? Like, what caused this feeling, whatever it is. And I think that's like a little thing that you can do to just like make a
I'm
shift.
Feeling something.
Yeah, I'm feeling something.
What is it? Where's it coming from?
And what triggered it? Did I see something? What was it that made me like my whole everything energy just like kind of shift? So.
Yeah. So I wanted to just kind of share this with you, and I wanted to share this with the viewers because I felt like one of the things it did for me was when I went through the survey, the next part of it is like you develop a plan.
Okay, action plan.
Action plan. You know, as teachers, we love a good action plan.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
We love it and we hate it at the same time.
We love it and hate it at the same time. It's like more paperwork. I'm just saying, like, can I do this online? Like, can this be paperless?
And it might be. Like, you could probably, and even if you don't actually sit down and do it, it just gave great food for thought.
I'm being funny. I'm really being funny, y'all. It's just like, that's one of the things
it's the trigger.
It's a trigger because that's one of the things I'm not looking forward to, which I kind of did enjoy about virtual, is like everything was like, it was paperless. I'm like, cool.
Tatiana hates, she's the one that hates the paperwork. I'm the one that I need a paper pencil.
Like, I'm still I will write down my to-do list on a piece of paper, but it's like being a teacher, you just get all these papers, and I'm like, can it be a form, like a Google Doc? Like, yeah, that's just me. But okay, so which one you want to go over?
So, no, I just said in here.
Okay.
The great thing about this is that once you realize, like once you take an inventory of yourself, the next piece is that you can create a plan, right? You identify your strengths, just like you do with your kids. Yeah. What are the strengths?
What are strengths, areas of
growth? And what are your like areas of growth? And then like what are your strategies? Like who thought that you was gonna be doing a whole action plan for your own self-care?
I mean, but that's what's needed, right? Like that's what's needed. I think this is a really good tool. So, and just to give the viewers an idea of what can happen, right? Okay. So like for me, I did it, right? And one of the things and it takes you through this other piece where you talk about like what are some like stress buffers, right? What are your stress buffers? And one of the things that I identified that is a great stress buffer for me is spending time with my friends. Okay.
Right? Which was why shutdown was so difficult for a lot of teachers. Yeah. It's because we interact with people.
Yep.
And like if being with friends is a stress buffer and you're in this place that you couldn't do that, like you didn't have that one of your key coping mechanisms, right? So, but what I also realized in doing this is that when I'm stressed, I actually tend to isolate myself.
Yeah.
Which is like, I realized that I was actually going in the opposite of direction of what would make me feel better when I'm stressed.
That's a good one.
So like it was a complete aha moment that I never really realized. And
that's
so then I have to now, what it says to me now is like, it just was a little like another check-in moment. I'm feeling stressed out. Like when's the last time, like, have I reached out to some friends just for not even necessarily to talk about what I'm stressed out, but just spending time with friends will inherently make me feel good.
Yeah, that's
so
really
like
good one.
I feel like going through this just gives you a window into yourself, like what are your stress buffers?
That's a good one.
And how, so when you have self-care time, it might not be like being alone. It might be self-care time for me.
Oh, it might be with
hanging out with some friends.
Yeah. That's a really, really good, like, I guess like a reflection piece of like maybe I need to, you know, be with somebody, because I feel like, you know, during this, like I spent a lot of time by myself. And I have a dog now. I did get, you know, during the pandemic, but
Shy,
my little Chai, hey baby, I love her. But
hey Shy, she has her own Instagram channel too.
She does, a dose of Chai. She does have her own Instagram. But I think what you're saying is true. Something else that I was thinking about is like, you know, the support aspect, where it's like I am a friend who like supports and shows up for their friends, but it's like I also have to be able to receive that in return, when like and it feels like a very uncomfortable, weird thing too. At times it's like, wait a minute, it's like, why is this weird? Like, you show up for other people, so why is it weird when the same energy and love that you're giving to someone else, like, it's coming right back to you?
Because a lot of people who are like used to being caregivers, which is one of the things on here, like a lot of people who are used to being caregivers actually don't do well
with receiving. And now I'm like, you know what, no, you deserve the love that you give to others to be returned back to you. So if somebody wants to support, like, hey, you know, I'm gonna
give
do
me
it.
all the care,
give me
and
all
support.
the love and support.
Give them to, I'll take it. So 10 ways to develop resilience. Make connections and build your social support network.
Okay.
So don't isolate yourselves.
Right.
Build that network.
Okay.
Avoid the tendency to view crises as insurmountable challenges.
Okay.
Like, oh my God, I'll never get over this. 3, accept that change is a natural and unavoidable part of life.
Whew.
Those who are holding on to the way things were, we got to let it go.
I know, that's
Move towards your realistic goals.
Okay.
Take decisive action that will help you face your challenges. Decisive action.
These are good ones.
Ooh.
These are good.
That's an action. That sounds like an action plan.
Look, I'm over here getting uncomfortable. I'm like,
see there, see, you gonna have to sit with this. You're gonna have to sit with this.
Okay.
All right. Look for opportunities that promote self-discovery. You might go see your art teacher at school and like get your art together. Nurture a positive view of yourself and your abilities. Keep things in perspective and in context.
Okay.
That was a hard one, keeping things in perspective and in context, because like your home, the news, all the things just coming at you.
It was like information overload.
Yeah.
You're like overly stimulated.
And then like if you haven't been outside, if you watch the news, you're like, the sky is falling.
Like, what is happening?
Until you go outside, you're like, okay.
Okay, yeah.
I can put this in perspective.
Yeah. Overstimulation is real.
Yeah. Maintain a hopeful outlook on life, and finally take care of yourself. Okay. And they have a coffee cup and an apple. So, or maybe we'll say that's tea and an apple. I'm a tea drinker, yeah. So teachers, back to school.
Yes.
Tatiana said, get your morning routine together.
Get your morning routine, your evening routine together. Also, you want to make sure that you're prioritizing your mental health.
And you have a boundary of when you cut off.
Yeah, when you cut off work, because it's going to be a lot as we transition back into work. So.
And I'm going to give another one.
What?
You don't have to be on 7 committees.
This is why. No, all jokes aside, like, this is why, and I can share this, like, I served as in a position at school, and
all kinds of leadership positions.
Right, and it was very stressful, and I never forget. And this is when you have to listen to your elders. So at our school, our social worker, amazing, love her. Hey, Miss Tyler. She's amazing, and you know what? At the beginning, her and Dion, they both said, they were like, "You need to put that down." But it was like my pride and my ego was so big, because I was like, "No, I don't want anybody to see me quit. Like, I can handle this." And they were like, "It's going to be too stressful. It's already stressful right now, and that's going to add to your plate." And looking back on it, I wish I would have just listened to the wisdom that was given to me, because I felt like I had something to prove to myself, but also to other people. And at the end of the day, it's not worth it. It's not worth your mental health.
Too much.
And even my mom was like, "Are you getting paid extra for this?" And I said, "No." She was like, "You need to put it down.
Put it down. Walk away.
Put it down and walk away." Like, it's not something that if you want to do it, great. But again,
Don't feel obligated.
Don't feel obligated
Yeah,
to do
especially
that.
if it's at a personal cost.
Exactly, if it's at a person. And I've seen those things happen, and I was just like, you know what? No, like we have to prioritize our mental health and our well-being, because you cannot do the work. You can't do the work that God has called you to do if you are depleted and tired.
Boom. We're going to end it on that. We're going to end it on that. Amen.
Amen.
And so on that amen moment, we're going to transition into our final segment. Our final segment of the day, the fashion segment.
Ooh, fashion.
Teach and make it fashion.
Right. Okay.
So, it is September. Well, not September. Oh.
You said,
It is
August.
I can't say September and I can't say fall.
We're at the end of August. We're
yes.
into September.
It is back to school time.
Yeah, it's back to school.
You know, I think that's a whole generational thing of like back to school September.
I know, right?
It's definitely like a throwback idea, but it is back to school time.
Yeah.
And again, back to school time usually all over TV.
Yep.
It's like back to school shopping.
Yeah.
So, Tatiana, do you have any memories of back to school shopping?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I have a lot of memories of back to school shopping. So first, I wore uniform majority of my life. So one of the things I do remember was once you got to a certain grade, you got to transition from wearing like the jumper, the little like uniform jumper, to just wearing like a skirt. Catholic school? Yeah, I went to Catholic school, and we had like the little jumper. But then once you got to like, I think it was like 5th grade or so, you got to wear a skirt. Ooh. And I was so excited because I was like, Mommy, can you take it to the cleaners? Because I wanted the pleats. Like I wanted the really nice, like the crisp pleats that you could see, right? Okay. So I remember that. And then because I wore uniform, it was kind of like we really didn't like do a lot of shop. It was more so like for the uniform part, but my mom would still like let us go, and then we'll pick out like outfits for the weekend.
So you got to go back to school shopping, but for like your weekend outfits.
Yeah, for like your weekend outfits, which was like really fun. But I just remember like the chaos. Especially in New York, like we used to go to this. I've got this one store. It was like they had like the French Toast. That was the brand, French Toast, and I think they probably still make the uniform shirts.
They do.
And again, before I had to get like the Peter Pan collar, but then once you transitioned to like a certain grade, you got the pointy collar. Ooh. So I was like excited to like pick out
graduate from the Peter Pan collar.
Right, I was excited to pick that out, and I was like, I feel like that was like one of the things that I remember. And then also because I went to Catholic school, they supplied us with most of our materials.
Okay.
So am I dating myself? We had like the book covers, so you had to like cover your textbooks and all that. It was very uniform, so I remember that. Like we all had the same pencil case and pencils, and yeah, it was that. But
so being that you had to wear uniform, did you wear uniform in high school too?
High school, I did not wear uniform.
Oh,
I did not wear uniform.
So in junior high, wearing uniform, how did you like? Because middle school kids have got to express themselves. How did you make your uniform unique? Or was Catholic school, they weren't having it?
Oh, they weren't having it from what I remember. They weren't having it. I think your hair was a thing. Like, you had like the cute hairstyles. And even that had to be like to a minimum. Like you couldn't really do, It was a lot, but I would say high school, when I transitioned to high school, I feel like that's when it was still fun. And at that point, I was working during the summer, so I was able to purchase like my own.
Your gear was up for the fall.
Yeah, I did. I was, one thing about me, like I love sneakers. So I was definitely like a sneaker queen, like everything had to coordinate and match.
Ow.
So it was like a matching situation. And it was exciting when I got a chance to like shop for my stuff. I didn't have like, my mom, my parents telling me like
you're gonna get this.
Yeah. It was like I got.
But high school, you got a chance to go shopping. I'm sure that was exciting.
It was exciting.
It was like finally I get to wear my own clothes.
Yeah, and it was. This is like not embarrassing, but I think as I was getting older, if my father took me shopping, I used to tell my mom like, please don't let him take me shopping because he would like make me buy clothes that was a little too big.
Because he was like, "You're not gonna be out here." Yes, that was the daddy outfits.
It was like, and
You're not gonna be out here
like,
showing all the stuff.
Yeah, and I was just like, this looks crazy on me. So I was excited when I finally got a chance to like
do your own shopping,
do my own back to school shopping, because it was my money from me working during the summer.
That's the beauty of getting your own money. So okay, so that was back to school shopping, little Tatiana.
Right.
Do you go back to school shopping as teacher, Tatiana?
You know, I do. I think again, it's different. It's again a transition because I was home, so I was wearing a lot of like loungewear, and I was still trying to like be presentable for the camera, but I was doing that. I think this year, as we're going back, I'm like, okay, I need to. BC before COVID.
You doing back?
Yeah, I was doing back to school shopping. I would do like an inventory of like what I had. Thrifting was something I like doing, and like my style has shifted a little bit, but it was still very. I like to say, if you had to mix like a good like Michelle Obama with like, I'm trying to see like a J. Crew catalog.
Yes,
kind of like that. It was very, I enjoyed colors, I enjoyed patterns, things like that. So J. Crew is like one of my favorite places to shop.
Same.
That was like
we've been shopping together and like had a whole like
J. Crew. I love J. Crew for like their the slacks, like tops and all that. So that's like one of my favorite things to do. So I would definitely hit up like J. Crew. I would hit up what's another one? J. Crew, The Gap, that's all kind of like the same.
Same, yeah. J. Crew, I think, is great because most of their pieces are what would fall into the category of like classics.
Very classics,
but you can add your own spin on them. Like,
exactly.
That's one of the tips for shopping is, and that I do with my clients, is this idea of making sure you have like a core skeleton of really like classic pieces.
Yep.
Because then you can do anything with those pieces.
Yeah, I
agree.
So
like Tatiana is really great at pattern mixing.
I love
so like she could still go and get like a plaid shirt from J. Crew. And she would still and wear it with like camo pants or like leopard print pants.
And I would do that, and that would be like one of my teacher outfits. And I think I got inspired from just looking at like J. Crew. Like I would just look at the J. Crew catalogs, and that's like one of the things that I would do. And I think one of the reasons why I took my teacher fashion like seriously is because I wanted my students to see like, you could still come to work and be fashionable. And it was to the point where, like, the little girls in my class would start showing up, like, you like my outfit today? And I never forget, I had these really cute, I still have them, actually, these loafers. They were, like, I think from Aldo, leopard. And one of my students, like, came in the next day and was like, I got some, too. And I was like, okay, girl.
Representation matters.
Representation matters, exactly.
So, you're saying, so your teacher style, how would you define your teacher style?
Oh, okay.
You said Michelle Obama meets J. Crew catalog.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, so when I first started teaching, I taught at a school that was very strict. So everything was literally like professional attire. So that's kind of was like the foundation. Then as I, over the years, I will say I kind of relaxed a little bit, but I'm still under the notion of like, you probably won't catch me in jeans before Friday. That's just how I am. Like, I feel like Friday is a good day for jeans, but my style is definitely mixing patterns. It's still very like biz cash. So if I'm wearing maybe if I have like on a dress, and depending on the weather, I might put on like, a print underneath. I love a good statement necklace. And comfortable shoes. You will not catch me in heels at work. I'm gonna have on flats. Like, I'm sorry,
So here's the interesting thing, and I think that teachers will relate to this. I feel like teacher dress is a little bit of a controversial issue, honestly. Like, thinking about some teachers believe like you should be able to be like casual and wear whatever you want. And some teachers like dress professionally. I'm from the school of thought that you should be dressing professionally. And it looks different depending on like what grade you might teach.
Okay, I see. I hear what you say that. So I feel like when you do teach like younger children, like if I'm like preschool, like I'm probably gonna want to be a little more lax because
you got to be on the floor.
You got to be on the floor. You got to be doing all that. So I would I would not expect you to be like in a dress or something. Like I would definitely be way more comfortable. But I think older, like high school and all that, as you're preparing to go to college and out into the world, like I do think it is important to kind of see, what that looks like. But the way I also look at it is like it depends on the culture, right?
Absolutely.
The culture of the school.
Yes.
And what, how that foundation is kind of set.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, then you can kind of,
So I've been in some schools where they like it's very casual. I personally don't believe in that. I still believe that teaching is a profession and teaching is a career. And so you need to show up as a professional and as if this is a career so that you can make sure that you are not just doing the work, but showing up as a professional. You can command the respect that you deserve.
I agree.
That's just me. And like one of my pet peeves is seeing teachers with flip-flops. I don't care. I said what I said.
She said what she said.
Catch me outside. That's how strongly I feel about that. I don't want to see your toes.
This is like really funny. This again, BC. So I remember one time I wasn't feeling good, and I was like, okay, let me just go to work and get through the day. And I just could not get dressed. I literally had on like a sweatsuit outfit and I put on a blazer. I put on a blazer and some boots and I was like, all right, so this is about to be it. This is it for today.
You had on a blazer.
I had on a blazer. I threw the blazer on. I was like, all right, this is it.
And I did it.
Because I did it.
So which brings me to what are we going to be wearing for back to school, right?
Oh, yeah.
So again, some teachers have been fully back into the building.
Right.
Some teachers were in a hybrid situation, so some days virtual, some days working at home, and some teachers were still fully virtual.
Right.
And so here we are now, going back into the building. It's back to school shopping time. So what are we wearing going back to school? What is on your list of back to school shopping for teachers?
So I have done. I got a few items back to school shopping, and I think what's really great about this time right now is that we're seeing a lot of things are kind of loose or high waisted, so that's great. And if you put on some weight during this time, that's okay because the clothing is a lot of it's just oversized, right? So right now, what's on my list? I definitely high waist trousers. I like the ones that kind of come out. Yeah, like the kind of like what Sharonda's wearing is really great. I do like flowy dresses, like something like this. I wouldn't probably wear off the shoulder dress to work.
You bet not.
I will not wear off the shoulder dress to work. But definitely like something flowy. Flowy dresses are something that I'm looking forward to. I think at this point, comfort is my thing. Comfort is key. So I want items that I can just feel like, okay. Because to be honest, like you're going to have a mask on. And I just want to feel like, all right, I'm comfortable. Like I already have to feel, constricted up here. I want to feel very just like comfortable, also like put together. So again, it's also like figuring out my style now. Because after being home for a little while, and now transition back into the building, I have to figure out, like, what do I feel comfortable in still? So, yeah, dresses are still a thing for me. Still slacks and, nice tops. I think you can't go wrong with that. Haven't wore, like, a button-down top in a while. So,
welcome back to the button-ups. Yeah. And that might be tricky. Again, button-ups can be tricky. I will say J. Crew has a really good button-up that is, like, for curvy women. Ooh. So all those buttons, they sit the way they're supposed to sit. Down, Go check it out.
But like I said, I think for me, because I know my style, I'm very big on like classic pieces. So I tend to, go with the stripes and the polka dots and, things that, because I do like she said, I do like to pattern mixing as I'm doing right now. It's like one of my favorite things. But what I am also looking forward to is just like the cord sets. Yes. I think that's like really simple and it's also easy because it's something you can like dress up and dress down. So I am on the hunt for like really nice cord sets if it's like the the top with the bottom. And if it's a little oversized, I feel comfortable and wearing some really cute loafers, or some cute flats and calling it a day.
So here's a couple tips for back to school shopping for teachers. We still love the things that we were wearing. We still can do in the office, right?
Yep.
One of the great things about having a cord set is it's like a 3-in-1 piece. You can wear them together, and then you can wear the top with a pair of pants, and then you can wear the pants with a different top.
Yep.
So a cord set is a great investment, especially because right now people's money might be kind of funny.
Right.
So a coordinate set will be an excellent addition to your wardrobe. And then also, like Tatiana said, how do we take all this like cozy clothing that we bought while we were in the house? We can still wear those to the workplace, but here's what you want to be thinking about. When you're wearing athletic wear to work, and we call it athleisure. One, don't wear the logo ones to work, right?
Okay.
So don't wear, like, you could wear your Adidas because it's got the like stripes, but don't wear like the big Adidas logo thing or the big Nike logo thing, because it looks way more athletic than it does comfortable.
So if I was to wear, let's say if I did have a pair of like Adidas leggings, right, I probably would wear an oversized white button up and, you know, wear that and maybe put on some like cute, like
a booty or
whatever. And then if I want, I can throw on like a jacket, like a moto jacket or a cute little blazer, depending, and then some earrings. Like, I do think that, hey, if you want to, you know, wear athleisure to work, you can definitely do that. I think it's just how you kind of just dress it up. For me personally, I prefer oversized tops if I'm going to have on some leggings in the workplace. That's my take on it.
Absolutely. So with leggings, you want to either do an oversized blazer, you want to do a tunic, or even like you said, like a oversized shirt. You got to be careful with an oversized shirt. Maybe you might want to belt it so it just doesn't look big and shapeless.
It gives you some type of shape.
It gives you some type of shape. So large, like oversized shirts, longer blazers, longer like cardigan jackets, or even shirt dresses.
Shirt dresses and wrap dresses are definitely still a thing right now.
And you can put it over top of your leggings
if you
to
feel
like
that
give
way,
that like layered look. So be careful with the leggings, especially depending on how you're coming back. And like I know in some schools too, though, leggings are not allowed. So, you know, but if you're allowed leggings in the workplace, there are ways to wear them and still look professional with a blazer, with, you know, or even if you did like a sweater and like a longer shirt underneath of it, just be really mindful of the way that you're showing
I think it's all
and
about
a good
comfort.
Quality legging.
A good quality legging. That is the key, honestly.
I'm always preaching about leggings, but if you're going to do a legging, it has to be a great quality legging.
Spanx has some good ones too.
No slightly see-through.
Oh yeah, those are not going to work for that.
We need leggings that's going to give us.
And I think what's important again for me is like I'm at this age. I'm also at this stage where I'm about comfort, and I want to be comfortable. And I think before, you know, at one point it was like, okay, like I want to be cute, but it's like I want to be cute and comfortable. Again, stress. Like this is going to be could be a stressful time. It's good stress or also bad stress. So you want to make sure you feel comfortable in the clothes that you're wearing.
So. You don't have to sacrifice professionalism, and you don't have to sacrifice personal image to be comfortable, though.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and then the other tip is if you're going to wear like athleisure, think about pairing the like opposite item with your athletic wear. So what I mean by that is similar to what you were saying. If you're going to wear sweatpants, pair it with a blazer and shoes versus sweatsuit and sneakers. Or if you're going to wear your sweatshirt, put it on with a skirt and a boot. So thinking about the like opposite item,
right? To kind of to
pair
dress it up,
with, to dress it up.
Yeah.
So like, you know, those days that like you said, you put on the whole sweatsuit because you just kind of weren't feeling well.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling
But
it.
you put a blazer on. Like, you don't necessarily think about a sweatsuit with a blazer, but
Right.
that pulled it together and gave it a different look.
It did.
So as you're going out for your back to school shopping,
Yep.
their teachers, we love a great discount.
Oh, yeah.
There are a couple of stores out
J.
here
Crew
that
definitely gives the
teacher discounts.
discounts, yeah.
J. Crew is one. Madewell
Yep.
is another. Ann Taylor Loft. I know they like, the girls
Yes.
like Ann Taylor Loft. Banana Republic. Those are all in the same.
Yeah, Banana Republic, J.
grouping.
Crew, and Gap, they all give teacher discounts. And I would say also just ask. Like, I'm a good advocate of just asking,
There
hey,
you go.
do you guys, give
Yeah.
discounts?
Ask for, do it everywhere. The movies, the bookstore, ask for the discount. And so just making sure, like, we're not sacrificing comfort, or we're not sacrificing professionalism
Yeah.
for comfort, and showing up in a way that we feel comfortable,
Yep.
reducing our stress, and like being able to love on the kiddos and love on ourselves.
And have fun. Have fun.
Have
with
fun.
Yeah.
Welcome back to school, everybody.
it. Yay.
And so on that note, thank you for joining us for Art Loves Fashion. Thank you to my favorite guest, she's almost like a co-host at this point, Tatiana and I.
Hey,
Make sure
guys.
you follow her on
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes, at Tatiana.Inese. That's TATIANA_INISE.
Tatiana Inese, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Art Loves Fashion, and I will see you again in about 2 weeks. Remember, our airing schedule is every second and fourth Sunday from 5 to 6. That's Art Loves Fashion. Hey guys, this is Sharonda Irving, image consultant and host of Art Loves Fashion. If you missed today's episode, don't worry, don't stress. You can go to my YouTube channel and see today's episode, as well as some of my other past episodes. You'll be able to see some of my super fantastic guests, as well as fun content. If you enjoyed the show, please make sure that you leave me something in the comments. Don't forget, our airing schedule is every second and fourth Sunday from 5 to 6 o'clock. Tune in with me live on Facebook and on YouTube. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.